Welcome back to another JDMKE episode. I don't know if we call it that, but we're back. We've been doing stuff, not really car stuff, but we have been amassing a collection of parts. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important. And this kind of kicks off the beginning of the turbo build setup, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
There's not a built bottom end, so I don't know if you can really say. It's still a turbo build, though.
Yeah.
But, so we have an exciting day here today. I picked up a spare 2J, a GE VVTI out of a GS300. I don't even know, a long time ago, year and a half ago, something like that. Sam graciously let me use his truck, and I went down to Illinois, and I got this sweet thing for the grand total of $300.
She's a beaut, Clark.
Yeah, that's this thing.
Yeah.
So, she's a little rusty, she's a little crusty, but the goal is really just to use the head because I want the non-VVTI bottom end because it has the stronger rods. And I want to use the VVTI head with that because it seems like there's a lot of benefits to that. Apart from, eliminating the distributor, having cam sensors. There's just a lot of things that it improves. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of knock off some of this crusty old stuff on here, and we will start test fitting some of the parts we have, which we've got this nice pile of parts right over here. So what we've got drive-by-wire conversion. This is like a Bosch drive-by-wire throttle body with outsider garage billet adapter to a GTE plenum with the Dodo Racing. I don't like that name at all, but they make a nice product adapter. So this will all go onto this head, and today we're going to test this all and test fit that this all goes together. I've got a GTE gasket right there. I've got GTE VVTI valve covers, and I also have the Supra V-World R35 coil conversion, and then we have the Artec twin scroll 2JZ GE turbo manifold. I don't have my turbo yet, but really that's kind of my last priority right now. So we just want to get all this stuff mocked up on this engine since this is the head that I'm going to be using, and try and get to see how all of these different aftermarket and some OEM parts mixed in, how this all fits, what this all looks like, and get a final look at what this thing's actually going to look like. All right, so we are going to start taking off some of the old stuff here on the junkyard 2J and peeling back the layers of crust to bolt on all these nice new shiny parts and see what it looks like. I'm pretty pumped. Been waiting for this a long time.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to see how cool this looks. So make sure you stick around because you're going to want to see how awesome. And this will also verify a lot of fitment things. There's a lot of stuff online that says, all the GT covers will fit on anything, blah, blah, blah. This is going to tell you once and for all, yes, it fits. No, it does not. I don't anticipate that all of this stuff will fit on, quite honestly.
Well, it's going to be interesting because we have what is by far the most common version of a 2J, at least in America.
Oh, definitely.
But I think probably worldwide is the GS300 or the IS300. It's available everywhere. So and on top of that, we have this huge mix of different brand aftermarket parts that say this will adapt this to fit this. We have some OEM parts, for different versions of the 2J. So if this all actually fits properly, that'll be really cool. And like you said, it'll verify a lot of things that you just see out there on the internet. Oh, this works with this. This works with that. This is all the same.
Sketchy posts where you're like, it's like, yeah, I did this, and then the next person's like, no, that doesn't work at all. And then you're like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what people have modified or whatever, but we're just gonna get to work and see if we can, get it all together. I mean, we're definitely gonna be able to get it together. We're just mocking it up. So, but
We'll learn
way.
something for sure.
Yeah, so
That'd be great.
I'm gonna get you on a tripod, and we will start cranking. So Sam has the Artec manifold here. He took the liberty of bolting on these little gates here. I've heard nothing but good things about these manifolds. I got the twin scroll one so that we could have some nice spoolage on the street here, immediate spoolage. The twin gate I don't think I need, but it's going to make some complications. I know.
Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's just more piping, more plumbing. One of the things that just putting these on, even these clamps, which are, I mean, the V-band clamp is, it's awesome stuff, but like, there's not a lot of room there. You really gotta be strategic about how you do that. And then of course it'll be the same thing on these for the actual dump pipes, but like, there's not a lot of room, so that'll be tricky, but it's cool. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that all the good things they say about these are true. It was,
look at the size of this flange.
Yeah, that thing is beefy.
I mean, that is huge.
And we kind of did prep up some of this. We removed a couple studs that were contacting. So 1, 2, 3,
4.
So
yeah, these two, as you can see, are real tight to this bend. It actually fit, but there was just no way of putting the studs were like touching the pipes.
Yeah.
So there was no way you could ever put a nut or anything on there. And on the bottom side, same thing, but it was even tighter here and here. And you can see they cast in a little bit of a clearance there, which is nice.
Yeah, and this one doesn't have as much, but also it just doesn't hit. But those will be things that, we need to use a bolt or a very short stud and a nut. I don't really know yet. I was looking, they do sell shortened studs.
Yeah. Cool.
Kind of with this in mind, but.
So other than that, this thing fits very, very nice.
Yeah, this is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's good enough. Just make sure, obviously, it's not going to come off, but yeah, that fits very well.
That's how things look there, but fits nicely. One of the other things I was kind of concerned about was the mount with all this business going on here.
The motor mount.
So I'm just going to have Sam throw on the bracket just to see where it gets it in relation to it. And that says exhaust, right?
No.
Oh.
Wrong line.
All right, so Sam's got the exhaust side, engine mount bracket. Is there another set of holes behind it?
What do you mean? Like in a different spot? Yeah.
Yeah, those 4. So I don't know which one we'll need.
That's really, that could be a problem, actually.
That side?
Yeah.
Well, that's not where they were, but
it's not touching, but
I'm not touching.
It's not close. It's not
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, where are they on that one?
So based on what we looked at on the car, we kind of took a quick peek. I think, this forward mounting position is probably where it's at. Honestly, I don't think it's the end of the world. This is how it looks in this position. There's obviously loads of room from a height standpoint. Doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue. I mean, obviously the routing of this with the twin gates is going to be an issue, but
well, it's just going to be another thing to figure out. I don't think it'll be a problem.
It's probably not a problem. Probably.
But that's with the bracket on, and that's the beautiful Artec manifold. Can't wait to hear what this thing sounds like when it's screaming.
I like it. It's nice and compact. I'm a big fan of well-made cast manifolds.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the tubular titanium ram horn, all that cool stuff. Obviously, that's cool too. But as far as like street stuff, compact, heavy duty, a good, well-made cast manifold is awesome.
So now we're going to switch over. We're going to go to the intake side and start bolting up and messing with all the things over here. We've got the manifold that I kind of went over earlier. Outsider garage is here and here. That's the adapters. Bosch 68 millimeter throttle body. Non-VVTI GTE intake plenum with the Dodo Racing lower runners. So we're gonna slap these on here. There's also in here, these are injector boss adapters. Those are because it tries to keep the stock 16 millimeter injector size. This steps it down to 14 so that my rail and this will be 14. Got that all bolted up. It's mostly in. We had more hardware, but these bottom holes are not wanting to line up. It's almost like you can see, and I'll put a picture up on the screen too, but it's a little...
It's just slightly off.
Slightly off.
It's like right on the edge of like where the threads kind of start.
And so I don't want to jam it in there either.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably force it, but with everything being aluminum, and this is the head that we want to use to try and do cool stuff with, I don't want to risk that.
Yeah, no.
We could maybe open up the holes just a slight amount, and it would work. But I think you're going to look into maybe getting a new piece.
I'm going to talk with the manufacturer, the Dodo Racing people, and see what they have to say about it. And if they tell me no go, then I'll probably just drill out the hole larger.
Yeah.
Because that's really not that big of a deal.
It's not, but we shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
With a brand new piece.
That's cast.
Yeah, and it's made for
every
this.
single one is the same.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess that's that issue. Now we're going to grab the fuel injectors and, try and mess with the fuel rail, the fuel setup. We've got some radium products that I'm excited for, the adjustable fuel pressure regulator that bolts to the rail, and the fuel pulse damper. So I'm going to grab that stuff, and we'll keep trucking along with test fitting everything. All right, so Sam, we've got the injectors here. One of the kind of cool things about it is they are adjustable in length, because that's one of the limitations with this kit, with the way that this intake manifold wraps around. You have to be careful about the length of your injectors, because you can have clearance issues in between here and the rail, depending on how long they are. So
yeah, we'll show you that in a second.
Sam's just lubing things up. We've got
lube's important.
Yeah, always lube your ports,
That's
ladies and gentlemen. This is a PSA coming from a hospital worker. Always use something that's retrievable as well. It has a handle on it. I don't care, tie a string to it.
A stopper of some sort.
A big sturdy base.
Right, exactly.
Just don't do it with something that's going to fall in there, please.
So, in order to get these into the injectors here.
So this is a tricky.
Now imagine doing this with all 6. This kind of barely fits.
That's definitely contacting there.
Yeah. I know, sorry, I'm trying to watch the finish, Adam.
Watch the finish. I mean, if my car rips, that's not going to bother me at all, really. I mean, it'll bother me, and then down the road I'll buy a new one. This looks like it's going in kind of weird.
I think.
Oh.
Scratched it.
Probably. Yep. Live on camera.
So.
Let me push this one in now.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay. We are down.
I think that's all the way in. Feels like it's all the way in. So that's. Maybe it needs to go in a little bit further. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to scooch this over. Is it down?
Keep popping this side out. I think that is all the way down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's very close. Usable.
Your fingers, so that maybe let a little light in. Is that? Oh, my gosh, that's so close. That's like paper.
Yeah.
Like it's even... You sure that one's all the way down, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I think when it's mounted, it's actually...
It's up a little?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's more like that.
Okay.
When it's actually mounted, so it's a little bit different. But, yeah, we're going to try it with some of these in the shorter setup.
So I actually called FIC because, I thought why not? And I asked them about adjustable lengths because I always kind of thought that these are adjustable, and they have this bottom adapter, and it maintains its same size. So this is still 14 millimeter for this bottom adapter, and then the top adapter as well. This just slides over it, and this is a 14 millimeter O-ring. This is underneath is still a 14 millimeter O-ring. So Sam's going to take this off.
Here, hold on to that while I get this other injector ready.
Going to inspect the damage.
Yep.
Got to get Sam in with the damage.
We are, yeah. Well, you know, we kind of tend to break each other's things.
Yeah, it's not broken.
No, not broken, but
it's just, you know, it's loved.
We
used it.
Yeah.
All right, so Sam's gonna pop in. This is the shorter. This is with the top spacer removed.
Right.
So
yeah, just the top.
Just the top.
Just to see if it fits.
Okay, that is quite a difference in terms of room.
Okay, so that bolts directly onto this lower plenum.
Oh my gosh, and I love that. So then that's no spacer here.
No spacers.
Okay, cool. Because this is where you can see there's 3 of these like standoffs that are in there. There's 1, 2, 3. So this is where it bolts up. Before, with the other longer injectors, we had to use a spacer.
Just like a factory rail.
Just like a factory rail. But yeah, this is cool that it goes straight to that. But now, so next we're going to get the fuel pressure regulator and then the fuel pulse dampener thing, and see if we can fit all those up. Because we have 4 ports in here. There's a, if I can take you up here, there's a rear, 2 centers, and a front port. We need a feed, return through the fuel pressure regulator.
Yep.
Okay, so we technically need 3 of the 4. So this is what it looks like. Apparently the opening and closing, as I understand it, I should say, here's a disclaimer, I'm an idiot. But the opening and closing of larger fuel injectors, which I'm not saying, I know everybody's going to be like, oh, I got 2,500 cc injectors and I only have 1,200 cc injectors, whatever. But apparently that can create turbulence in the fuel flow from them opening and closing. And this is supposed to stop that. So I got this, and we'll see. It's supposed to help with like idling, tuning in general. Sam has the fuel pressure regulator over here, and that's going to mount to the back.
So that's going to have to go on before the rail gets put on.
Oh yeah, I can't spin.
Before it was spaced off enough that there was, you know, it was kind of sitting out here.
Yeah.
There was barely enough room to spin it on right next to the engine, but now that it's closer, there's no way.
The issue now we have the fuel pulse dampener that contacts this right here, which I haven't really looked it up, but nothing's connected to it. So I'm thinking, I know that sounds kind of freaky, like cutting something right off the head, but
I mean, I think it's worth it to be able to get that thing on the inside and keep it compact.
yeah, because I mean, the way I guess I wanted it, I was thinking feed in through the front, out here.
Yeah, that's definitely the best way to go.
You know, like that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that would allow that to happen. I would just have to grind that mofo off there because the 2 ports line up perfectly. It's this one and this one.
Yeah,
they line up perfectly with these like ears right here. So yeah, obviously the valve cover bolts to there, but these are just not being used. So
yeah,
that's something we could look into. And obviously, before I send it to the machine shop and everything,
yeah,
it's the time to do it when it's
For
going to
sure.
get all cleaned out and
Yep.
you know, hack it off and keep going. All right, so
that's that. This should fit just fine once we get it on here. We can test it real quick. Oh no, it feels cross-threaded.
shut up.
So obviously it's not very tight,
Oh,
but
rail's scratched anyway, so
close enough.
got to get a new one. Okay, so now we have the shorter injectors. The big thing back here is going to be space and seeing if this is doable. I don't know if that's sitting there. Also, in terms of adjusting it, I mean, that's going to be that's going to be a bear. I like, aesthetically, it's very pleasing because it's just completely out of the way.
Yeah.
And it's just not another bracket that I need. And there's not lines that need to run to it. It's nice that way, but I mean, you can see so that's what it would look like on the car itself. I don't know if we have.
Yeah, that's right at the back of the head there.
Yeah.
It's close to the firewall.
I don't know if we're going to have room for something like that. So that will be a TBD with this part at least. But there's lots of options for fuel pressure regulators. So
yeah.
Now we're gonna grab some valve covers and try and mess around with those and see the R35 coil unplug setup. All right, so we're gonna get these valve covers off. We're gonna see how it fits. I've got GTE valve covers, and take a look inside this bad boy here, because these are all unbolted. And there it is. It appears as though someone did change the oil. As far as the intervals, I do not know, but at least it's not all sludgy.
Yeah, and it hasn't been sitting in a junkyard its entire life because there's no rust on any of the cams or anything, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's how that looks. I'm going to give Sam this guy here. That's the non-VVTI gear side. That's the long boy, I think, right? So we got some GTE valve covers. I've wanted these. These are just OEM GTE VVTI covers. Oh boy, that looks good. I did put in this radium press-in adapter to 10 AN, I think is what that is. It's 8 or 10. Ooh-wee. That is looking sweet. Okay, so this works well. But this is something we kind of know about, but also something that you get a lot of differing information on the internet about. So this shows you exactly, this is a 2JZ GE VVTI head with GTE VVTI valve covers on it. The only difference is right here with this little guy. So this bolt hole is different on these heads. So there are some ways that you can mess with this. You can, cut, weld. That's something that people have done. This is very fragile stuff. But I bought this thing from Freed Engineering. This is just a little kind of relocation adapter thinger. So basically it just goes on like this and then gives you, a little bit of strength on there.
It's difficult because if you can see, it's got that step there.
It's a simple solution relatively. Obviously the part, like you said, takes more thinking.
Yeah.
But, I feel like a good first step to give this a shot, see if that does the pressure. I think it's probably better on these.
They're still getting a bolt in there.
Yeah.
You're not just leaving parts out because it doesn't fit. Yeah, it's a nice, simple solution, and hopefully it works.
So, okay. So that is how that's working. Everything else bolts right up. So I ordered the Supra V World coil unplug kit. It has, R35 GTR coils with custom boots. So these are like custom link boots to fit in here because that's kind of the issue with using these coils. You can, buy one off the shelf, which is kind of nice. But you also need to have the shorter boot. It says if it's GE, it says basically it fits every valve cover essentially. So we're going to pop this in here and see how it goes. And then, I know there's a lot of finagling here. These do allow for this crossover, these like crossover tubes to be used. But I know, and it's supposed to fit under the cover. Spoiler alert, because we got a nice minty cover here. Okay.
This is a problem here.
So yeah, this is the issue. This is hitting this area here. So that is going to be another thing that I need to talk to the Supra V World guy. He makes a bunch of YouTube videos. So I will talk to him since I'm using OEM valve covers and everything, like the way the bracket should fit.
Yeah, so down here, that's where there was a stud, just like on this side.
Yeah, just like this one here.
And we just removed that because the connector's right here. So we can put a bolt in there. That's obviously, the head will be shorter than the stud was. And that's not a big deal.
No, obviously this up here, this would be like, we could trim that off. There's a bunch of extra material there. The only thing I don't know is this side. It looks a little slim on material. So as expected with these sort of projects, you know, and mixing all these different aftermarket manufacturers, there's going to be some contacting people, like the intake side over here, you know, and those bolt holes not lining up. So I guess for now, what we'll do, because this would be like, I guess, worst case scenario for height of these. I mean, and we know that it'll clear the cover because it's underneath these crossover tubes, and those would be higher than that as well. But next what we're going to do is just pop on the cover and just get a look at how this baby will look in its final form. Now I've got this sweet thing, which I wanted like my whole life. So we're going to pop this on there. This should fit on nicely. I don't know if it matches up to it looks like it's going to match up fine. But that was a question that I had too, was if it matches up to these GE covers. And it looks like it does, which is sweet. And look at how good that looks. We know with fitting all these parts that there's always some kind of issue you need to overcome. So next steps, we're going to be taking the head off, getting that to the machine shop, probably buzzing that nub off, making it look, you know, decent. I don't just want to have a rough cut. I want to have something that's contoured, if that makes sense. I don't know. So it doesn't just look like crappy, you know?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed checking out how cool this looks. So keep following along and we'll keep updating you as to where we're going with this. I've got a lot more parts. So this is going to hopefully just kind of come together as we figure out little things like this. And we will catch you on the next one.